welcome back to my channel. My name is Dorian and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. So this is a pretty popular tag that a lot of booktubers do every year. In case you don't know, it is essentially a tag all about just checking in on your reading halfway through the year, what your favorite books are, what do you still need to read in the rest of the year, all fun stuff like that. I know this is like a booktube favorite. Everyone loves watching and doing these tags and I'm very excited to do it for the second time, which is wild. But anyways, we're gonna move past that. I am currently surrounded by books right now because I have a lot of books to mention, so let's just get into the video because I have a bad feeling this might be a long one. We'll see, but yeah, so let's just get into it. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2021, and I had a bit of a hard time because, as most of you probably know, my favorite book up until very recently was Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. I love that book so much, it meant so much to me, and recently a book did surpass it. I kind of have trouble letting Beyond the Black Door go, but I will mention it a lot in this video, so don't you worry. But the best book that I read in 2021 so far is In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. A.M. Strickland is going to be a big theme in this video, just you wait, but I loved this book so much. It's so just oh, it's so good. I'm gonna try to give like kind of synopses of these books in this video, but don't expect anything too thorough because this is the mid-year book Freakout tag after all. We're all about chaos here. But this book, first of all, I tabbed this quite a bit. I loved it so much. We're following this girl named Rovin, and she is a blood mage, and in this world, if people discover that you're a blood mage, you are essentially assigned a guardian who is basically a ghost, and they are kind of bound to you. They follow you wherever you go, and they're meant to protect you, but Rovin does not want this. She wants to be free, so she keeps the fact that she's a blood mage to herself, but one day she has to save one of her friend's life, and in order to do that, she has to use her powers, and they're in public, so people see that she's a blood mage. She's brought to the palace and she's assigned a guardian, and there's just a lot that happens in this book. Like, oh my god, there's just so much. The whole like the last like 100 pages of this book were wild. I was having whiplash from all the twists and turns this book took. It was so good, and I love all the characters in this book, and there's also so much queerness in this book. Rovin is pansexual. She is also in a polyamorous relationship. We have a side character who is a lesbian. We have another side character who is non-binary and ace. I love that character so much, Jaffa. They have my heart. But yeah, there's just so much queerness in this book. It's just so great. I love all the characters. It's so good. It's so good. So if you haven't picked this up yet, please read it. I love it so much, and I will be talking about it again after. So stay tuned. The next question is the best sequel that you've read this year, and I looked at the books that I read so far this year, and I've only read one sequel, which is very weird for me. I feel like I'm always like reading books that are part of series, but I guess I just started a lot of series this year, so I need to work on that. But the one sequel that I did read, I did love, so that's good. But that is the Tea Dragon Tapestry by Kay O'Neill. I love these books so much. This is the third and final book in the Tea Dragon Society books, and the Tea Dragon books are all about these tea dragons who can grow tea leaves from their antlers, and when you make tea out of these tea leaves, you can see their memories, and it's just such a wholesome series. And this series also has a lot of casual queerness, and I love it. And I highly recommend these graphic novels. They're just so wholesome, and they're also like, the art style is just stunning. I just show the art style in these books every time I talk about them, but this is definitely the best sequel I've read this year because it's the only one, but I did give this 5 stars, so it all works out. So the next question is a new release that you haven't read yet, and I have a lot. There's no way I can name them all right now, but I'll try to name some. So I'm just gonna list them off because there are a lot, and there's even more than what I'll show you. But yeah, so I really would like to read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I loved Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I didn't love Evelyn Hugo as much as everyone else does. I thought it was like pretty okay, but Daisy Jones I loved, and I'm very excited about this one. Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I've heard such amazing things about this middle grade, and it just sounds so good, and I really want to read it, and this cover is stunning, so this one. The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. Another beautiful, stunning cover, and I need to pick this up. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This one I'm just so excited to read because I love The Martian so much. It's one of my favorite books of all time, so definitely very excited about this book. There's also Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi, another one that I'm very excited to read, and I am probably reading this soon for a reason, so stay tuned. I don't know if I can say something yet, but I'm reading this soon, so stay tuned. There's also Ace of Spades, which I have just heard so many amazing things about this book. I don't think I've seen anyone give this less than 4 stars. Most of the reviews I've seen have given it 5 stars. I'm just so excited about this book. It sounds so good, and I need to get my hands on it and I need to read it. I'm very excited about it. There's also Dial A for Aunties, which has been piquing my interest lately ever since Rachel read it and Lisa also recently read it and loved it, so I really want to read it. It sounds like a wild time, and yeah, I just need to read this book. Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon is another one, and I'm really excited to read this because I love everything by Nicola Yoon, and I think this one has like a bit of magical realism in it, so that sounds interesting, and the cover is also beautiful. I am very excited for this one as well. And then there's The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nevo. First of all, the cover for this book is absolutely stunning. One of the most beautiful covers I think I've ever seen, and I've seen this book a few times at work, and every time I see it I'm just like, I want to caress. And this is also a Great Gatsby retelling, and I love The Great Gatsby, so I am very excited to read this book, and I've heard amazing things about this one as well. We also have The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I haven't read a book by Emily Henry yet, but I have one of her books, and actually no, I have 2 of her books. I have Beach Read and A Million Junes, and I really want to read both of them, and I just have a feeling that I'll like her writing style, and this is another book that has gotten amazing reviews that I really want to read. There's also The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, I think is his name. I liked The Silent Patient. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did. I thought the twist was like kind of underwhelming, but this one, again, I've heard amazing things. The cover is absolutely stunning, and I just really want to read it. And the last book I'll mention is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This book just sounds so good, so fun. Another book I've heard only amazing things about, and this is another book that I see at work a lot, and I'm so tempted to buy it. I just haven't done it yet, but probably soon. I will lose my willpower. It's fine, but yes, very excited about that one also. So like I said, those are only just some of the new releases that I still need to read. There's a whole lot more, but I'll leave it at that for now because we don't want to be here forever. I don't know what's going on outside. Maybe there's like a wedding or something, but I just keep hearing honking. I hope you can't hear that, but the next question is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and 100% my answer is When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis, which is the sequel to Where Dreams Ascend by Janella Angelis, obviously. This book keeps getting pushed back, and I just need to read it. I need to hold it in my hands, and I need to read it. Please, if I could like get an arc of this book or something, I'm just shouting into the void. Please let me read this book. Why are you honking? Do you mind? Okay, anyways. Maybe they're excited about When Night Breaks too, I don't know. But yeah, I need to read this book. Where Dreams Ascend is one of my favorite books of all time, and the way that ended, stress. I have so much stress for the second book, and also the fact that the second book is inspired by Hadestown. I am very stressed, but I can't wait to read it. Ugh. I'm so excited. The next question is my biggest disappointment of the year, and 100% that goes to One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I actually just finished this book like a few days ago, and I did not love it. I gave it 2.5 stars. I was hoping this would be at least 4 stars, but I thought it would be probably 5 stars, but did not do it for me. I didn't really like the main characters. I loved the side characters, but I did not feel emotionally attached at all to our main characters. I found their relationship seemed very forced, and they just, like, I didn't really see any chemistry between them. I don't know if I'm just crazy, but I don't know. I didn't love it, and the writing, like, there was just so many jokes in this book. Like, Casey McQuiston is funny, and she writes some really funny lines, but in this book there's just way too many jokes, and it just took me out of the story a lot. I didn't love it, and this is definitely my biggest disappointment, and I'm still gonna read their future books, but this one was a letdown, definitely. So the biggest surprise of the year, here she comes! Beyond the Black Door! by A.M. Strickland. I had a feeling I would really like this book, but I didn't think it would be a new favorite book of all time, but it is, and I love it so much. This book just has my whole heart. I love it so much. If you don't know, the main character in this book is Ace, and this is the most realistic portrayal of an asexual person in my opinion, like in my experience. I felt so seen by this book, and I just thought it was beautiful, and I loved it so much. So if you haven't read this book, which you probably haven't because this book is so underhyped on BookTube, please go check it out, do it for me, and if you don't like it, don't tell me and hide. The next question is your favorite new author, so either a debut author or new to you author, and like the kids outside are screaming, they're screaming for A.M. Strickland. I love A.M. Strickland so much. Obviously, 2 of her books are my 2 favorite books of the year, so it's pretty obvious that I love them very much, and I cannot wait to read anything they write for the rest of their life. I will just read it and I will love it. Yeah, this was easy, definitely. So the next question is your newest fictional crush, and I didn't really have an answer. I feel like there wasn't really a book that I read this year where there was a character that I was like, oh my god, I am crushing on this character. So I'm gonna kind of stretch it a bit because I did read Shadow and Bone this year, and in the Shadow and Bone show, there is a certain character named Kaz Brecker. Have I read Six of Crows? No, I have not. Is he in Shadow and Bone? No, he is not. But he is in the show that is based on Shadow and Bone. So I think it counts. I think it counts. I love Kaz. I mean, is it mostly because of Freddie Carter? Maybe so, but I love the Grumpy Boys. We all know this, so I'm going with Kaz Brecker. And I can't wait to read Six of Crows one day to actually see him in book form because that's where he was birthed from, you know. Anyways, love Kaz. Okay. Next we have my newest favorite character, and oh, here they come again. Definitely Kamai from Beyond the Black Door and Rovan from In the Ravenous Dark. I love these 2 so much. I love them so much. They're very different, but they just have such a special place in my heart. Kamai, ugh, amazing. Rovan, badass, cannot be stopped. We love them both. Oh my gosh. I just love them, okay? I love them. Please read these books. Can you tell I love these books? I don't know, but there you go. The next question is a book that made me cry, and I cry very easily, so there are a few to talk about. Now, first, you may be thinking,
there's no way that Dorian can find a reason to talk about Strange Dreamer in this video.
But guess what? I can, because I did reread this year, and it made me cry even more the second time. The first time I read this, I cried. The second time I read this, I really cried. The ending is just so sad. And we all know this is my favorite book of all time. I loved rereading it. I tabbed it. It was great. There's a lot of blue tabs near the end. Those represent sadness. So definitely cried at this one. I also cried at these 2 books. Do I need to talk about them anymore? Yes, I do. I cried at both of them. Not really because they were sad. Well, this one because it was sad, but I was also just, there was a lot going on, so I was sad and just overwhelmed. And this one just because the Ace rep just made me feel so seen, and it just made me cry. So yes. But another book that made me cry that I haven't mentioned yet is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book, oh my gosh. Like, I knew I would probably cry by the end, but it was so sad. There were just some moments in this book that were just so heartbreaking. This takes place in World War II. We're following 2 sisters as they navigate World War II. They both take kind of different paths during the war, and we're just following both of their stories, and this is such a beautiful book. I loved it so much, and the ending definitely made me cry. There were a lot of parts that made me cry, but there's like one specific thing at the end that made me sob, and yeah, so definitely this book. A book that made me happy, another book that I haven't mentioned yet, so a little treat for you guys, but that's Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is another book that I read recently, and I just had such a great time with this book. It definitely made me really happy. I love this book. It's so good. We're following Morrigan Crow, who has always been told that she is a cursed child and that she's destined to die on her 11th birthday, but instead of dying on her 11th birthday, she's whisked away to the world of Nevermore by this man named Jupiter North, who I love very much. much. And this whole story just made me so happy, made me smile. The ending was wild, and I cannot wait to read the second book. But yeah, this definitely, I had a good time with it, and it made me very happy. So yeah. The next question is the most beautiful books that I've bought or received this year. Let's just get them out of the way. Especially this one, like, I love this cover so much, okay? But this one especially, like, the colors, they were made for me. They were just made for me. They simply were. I can't argue with it. So beautiful. There's also The Ones We're Meant to Find, which I already showed. Like, look at this cover. Look how crazy beautiful this is. I can't. I just can't. I can't. I have no words. It's so beautiful. And another book that I want to mention is The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is the Penguin Classics edition. I always knew that if I was going to own this book, I needed this edition, and I saw it at work, so I needed to buy it. And it's just, I love holding it. It makes me feel fancy, and I love this edition so much. It's so beautiful. Again, no words. Beautiful, stunning, life-changing. Okay. So we're at the last question, which I feel like I didn't make any sense in this video, so I apologize for that. But the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So remember all those new releases that I talked about earlier? All of those and a few more, definitely Priory of the Orange Tree. I'm supposed to be reading this in July, okay? It's gonna happen in July. I am buddy reading this with people. We are going to read this giant boy. This is like, what, 800 pages? Something like that? Yeah, 800 pages. She's chunky, but I have a feeling I'm gonna love it. There's a dragon. What more could we want? So this is being read. Mark my words. Another book that I need to read by the end of the year is Cemetery Boys. I might save this for like Halloween time because I think this is supposed to be a little spooky. I mean, cemetery is in the title. There's like this guy up here. I don't know. He looks scary. But I've heard just amazing things about this book. I cannot wait to read it. I think I'm gonna love it, so definitely need to read this one. Another one that I just cannot believe that I haven't read yet, but it's like, you know when you just know that you're gonna love a book, but you just keep putting it off because you're like, it needs to be the perfect time to read it? It makes no sense, but that book is A Lat's Away by Darcy Little Badger. I just know, I just have this feeling that I'm gonna love this book. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Why do I look so dark? This book also has Ace Rep, so like I just know I'm gonna love it. So why haven't I read it? This cover is also stunning. So there you go. And lastly, I have to mention this for my brother, but I am going to read The Way of Kings by the end of this year. Mark my words, it's gonna happen. No one believes in me. I have read the first 80 pages of it and then I put it down. So I need to pick it back up and read it all. It's just so big and scary, but I'm gonna read it. The only one who believes in me is my brother's girlfriend. So thank you to you if you're watching, but yeah, I'm gonna read it. It's gonna happen. Everybody stay calm. I'm gonna read it. Okay? Okay. So that's it for the mid-year book Freakout tag. I would love to know what you guys' favorite books have been so far this year, and also which books do you need to read by the end of the year. I hope this video convinced you to read In the Ravenous Dark and Beyond the Black Door. I'm an A.M. Strickland stan account at this point. I love their books so much. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!